Hello and welcome to our news roundup for the night. First in our news, the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, chaired the opening of the National Conference on Economic and Social Recovery. During this conference, the head of state reiterated the commitment of the state to support exporters and investors in order to diversify the national economy and put it on the path to sustainable growth. During this two-day tripartite meeting, in which the government and its socio-economic partners are taking part, President Tebboune announced a series of measures to be implemented to encourage exporters and boost Algerian non-hydrocarbon exports. The president said that we're keen on a new economy from which all Algerians benefit within the principle of equal opportunities. He argued that the country aimed to reach at least $5 billion of non-hydrocarbon exports as of next year 2021, thanks to incentives in favor of exporters, a very feasible objective as long as the political will is strong and the vision is clear. Among the measures he cited the creation of green corridors dedicated to certain products, the transfer of a good part of foreign exchange earnings to the benefit of exporters, in addition to strengthening the role of Algerian diplomacy in the promotion of Algerian products abroad. The expected objective is to reduce from the next 2 years financial dependency on hydrocarbons to 80% as against 98% currently, he argued. The president hailed on the occasion the efforts of some exporters despite the difficulties for entering some international markets with the national product. Referring to investment, President Tebboune once again expressed the state's will to encourage investors who create jobs and wealth. He stressed that investors are protected if they respect the laws. He even stressed that there was no objection to the creation of private banks and private air and maritime transportation companies of goods and passengers, while calling on investors and economic enterprises to work towards the reduction of the import bill. Algeria wastes billions of dollars to transport goods from abroad, while these funds allow Algeria to own public and private companies in this field. The president affirmed that the state will decriminalize the Commercial Act in order to free the initiatives and create a sound economic climate. The government will also grant tax benefits up to reduction estimated at 50,000 dinars for every young person who's permanently employed in their enterprises. He further highlighted that the heavy investment in Algeria should be understood as the orientation to the international competition, covering national needs, creating the capacity to complete factories, creating wealth, providing employment, and absorbing the surplus. According to the head of state, the country must also go towards creating local raw materials and using them as much as possible to reduce dependency on the outside. Algeria will not sell its raw materials again, nor will it import even 1 liter of gasoline and diesel starting from 2021. The President of the Republic urged investors to invest heavily in the mechanical industry and stimulate this sector to create tens of thousands of jobs. Tebboune stated that there is no difference between the private and public sectors. The only problem, however, is that the private sector works with a capital of 80% of the public funding, and he wondered where the funds of years of investment and public loans are. He added that tens of billions of dollars went out from the public treasury for investment without yield, and this phenomenon must stop. The investment plan should meet the conditions of goodwill and set a high goal of national integration. He added that the investors in the housing sector should also use the least possible amount of imported materials because we're able to produce construction machinery and construction materials. Regarding the funding investment, Tebboune reassured investors about the availability of internal financial resources put at their disposal. No less than 1,900 billion Algerian dinars of bank funds were thus reserved for the investors for the current year. He argued, emphasizing once again his categorical refusal to resort into external debt, whatever the form may be. In addition to the bank availability, President Tebboune mentioned the possible allocation during the current year of 10 to 12 billion US dollars of foreign exchange reserves to investment. This aims to expand the exporters' factories and in-depth study of their projects so that they, in turn, be a source for supplying the country with hard currency. Returning to the country's overall financial situation, he said it was difficult but sustainable, with foreign exchange reserves of $57 billion and $24 billion in all revenues expected in 2020. If Algeria survived the whirlwind recently, it was all thanks to the efforts of the peasants who kept abundance and increased their production. He further highlighted that the farmers have nothing but production, and we have to open all the doors for investment for them, from storage, food transfer to exports. In order to successfully meet the development challenge, the President of the Republic insisted on the acceleration of the economic and financial sector's digitization to put an end to the opacity created voluntarily within these sectors. He said that digitization should begin immediately due to the contrived ambiguity, as it is unreasonable for digitization to cease in sectors such as taxes. He stressed that tax administration should be of a stimulating nature to invest through cuts and facilitations and not a tool of punishment. He said that the state will review the trade law. For this reason, justice will be doubled from the specialized courts in commercial cases. As for industry, the president stressed that it is necessary to pass immediately to develop manufacturing industries. The era of manipulating the import of cars and then the illusion of exporting them is over. As for the judicial sector, the head of state instructed the justice and security sectors not to take into account anonymous reporting letters from now on. Every anonymous message will be ignored, inviting hence people who possess information about an economic crime and has the courage to expose it in front of everyone to go to the press in light of the presence of 180 daily newspapers in the country.
On the sidelines of this national conference, the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, visited an exhibition devoted to startups where he exchanged views with the different exhibitors and reiterated the state's commitment to accompany them in achieving their goals and projects.
11 workshops were on the agenda of the National Conference on the Recovery Plan for a New Economy, free from bureaucratic barriers that generate wealth and absorb unemployment. The Prime Minister, Abdelaziz Jarrad, said that the vision of the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, and members of the government is to go towards a fundamental breakdown. First of all, there is no longer a public or private sector. Concerning the mining sector, we could say that it has always been attached to the Ministry of Energy, Industry, etc. One of the main decisions of the President of the Republic is to make it an independent sector. The economic operators, the experts, as well as the social partners present during the workshops also raised their main concerns. The Prime Minister added that digitization is a priority in the finance sector and that he spoke with the governors about taxes, because the citizens think that there is no transparency in the customs and tax system, assuring that they are ready to devote themselves to digitize these two important sectors. Workshops dedicated to micro-businesses, startups in the agricultural sector, to industrial development or energy resources, among other relevant topics, are able to come out with recommendations likely to have a solid economy based on diversification. The President's speech was well received by the participants in this conference. The President of the National Economic and Social Council, Knes, said that the Knes will no longer be involved in any political debate. It is a system of public decision for the rationalization of decision-making, and it will keep its classic character as office for all categories combined. President of the Algerian Workers' Trade Union, UGTA, insisted on going beyond bureaucracy, assuring the digitization of certain aspects of administration, as well as the need to facilitate investment. The Minister Delegate of the Economy said that the President of the Republic, as well as members of the government, attach particular importance to startups and to the knowledge economy in general. Several effective measures seem to satisfy the economic operators, who have expressed their satisfaction.
The commander of the land forces, Major General Ammar Athamniya, chaired on Tuesday the graduation ceremony of the 48th class of the Command and Staff sessions at the level of the Command and Staff School, Shahid or Martyr Hamoud Ahmed, called Sil Hawass in Burj Al Kifan in Algiers. The ceremony started by an inspection presided by Major General Ammar Athamniya of the squares of the outgoing class. The acting commander of the Command and Staff School delivered a speech in which he outlined the main axes of the winter training at the school, saying that the Command and Staff School is witnessing the birth of a new strong elite made up of tomorrow's men, capable of taking control with efficiency and rationality based on the military and scientific knowledge received at the school. After the commander's message, diplomas were awarded to the successful trainee officers. This outgoing group was named after the martyr and hero Baha Makawi, a Burj Al Kifan native. At the end of the ceremony, the commander of the land forces visited an exhibition of this group's main activities and honored the family of martyr Baha Makawi. Major General Sadiq Ismail, Central Director of National Defense Material, supervised a similar graduation ceremony of 10 new classes from the late martyr Sheikh Amoud bin al-Mukhtar Higher School of Material in Al-Harash in Algiers. The ceremony began with the inspection of squares chaired by Major General Sadiq Ismail, Central Director of Equipment at the Ministry of Defense. The commander of the school evoked the main axes of the training provided to students based on acquisition of scientific and military knowledge, stating that he took this opportunity, which will remain engraved in the memory of each student, to congratulate them, wishing them all success, progress, and development. He called on all students and trainees to continue the rigorous curriculum for better performance. Afterwards, the outgoing class took the oath of loyalty. Major General Siddiq Ismail proceeded to the delivery of degrees and diplomas to the laureates, after which they awarded the national emblem to the incoming group. Major General Siddiq Ismail then agreed to name this class after the martyr Aliwi Belqasem. This ceremony ended with an exhibition and a tribute paid to the family of the martyr Aliwi Belqasem.
The advisor to the presidency in charge of the national community settled abroad, Nazih Baramdan, indicated during his visit to the eastern province of Etablissement that meetings with the different associations will go on with a view to working out a new strategy that will for sure pave the way for building a stronger society and spearheading developments throughout the country.
The Energy Transition and Renewable Energies Minister Shamsuddin Shitoor announced the creation of 200 startups to take part in the program converting 200,000 vehicles into liquefied petroleum gas planned for 2021. He specified that these qualified startups and all investments in this field will be selected by the Minister Delegate to the Prime Minister in charge of knowledge, economy and startups. The Minister stated that the operation is profitable both economically and ecologically. Shamsuddin Shitoor also called for the realization of the energy consumption by consuming less and better. He said that Algeria has a major export difficulty, and to that he established a program for the conversion of 200,000 cars to liquefied gas. To this effect, he contacted 10 ministers to inform them that they are all concerned by this energy transition. 419 new confirmed cases of coronavirus and 12 new deaths were recorded during the last 24 hours in Algeria, bringing the total number of confirmed cases to 39,444. and that of deaths to 1,391, said the spokesman of the Scientific Commission in charge of monitoring the evolution of the coronavirus pandemic, Professor Jamal Fourar, in his daily briefing. He once again stressed the necessity to respect hygiene measures, social distancing, and the confinement to stem the spread of COVID-19. Beaches have reopened last Saturday, and people are enjoying themselves during the heat wave. Here in the Dolphin Beach, a large number of police officers on their quads and horses were on the spot. They are present on the ground to reinforce security and to ensure the implementation of sanitary measures. Patrolling the beach on horses for the first time in Algeria, making families and children feeling pleased, entertained and safe. The local authorities are mobilized to fulfill their duty and protect tourists, allowing them to enjoy their summer vacation in full safety. That was it for our news roundup. Thanks for joining us. Good night.